The advantage of the Zero SRF compared to petrol bike is that there are a lot less parts. There is a battery, there is an engine, there is a belt, and that's about it. Before getting into details, I would like to show you everything I use in my garage. That's why you see all those boxes. Of course, there wouldn't be enough space on the SRF to carry all this stuff. I will show you the most important tools I use in my garage and those that I absolutely want to carry on a road trip. The tool I use the most is a small ratchet key from Facom, and it's very tiny, very handy. With these you can unmount almost anything on the SRF. Then I use a bit holder. This bit holder, I bought it from Vera. It's very handy, very comfortable. Then I have a bit holder set from Bosch. In this box you can see all the bits you need to put your SRF in parts. You don't really need more than this. Then I use a set of Allen keys. These Allen keys are from Swiss Tools. They are actually more expensive than what you can buy on Amazon, but I really like them. I've been using them for the last 10 years. The thing is, using bits is convenient, but sometimes it's actually quicker to reach out to an Allen key. So that's why I also use that set of tools. I have a water pump pliers. I also have a flat pliers. It's the same. I don't really use it. I have a circlip plier from Facom. I actually use it only to unmount the foot peg on the SRF. I've used it to move from the high foot peg to the lower foot peg. The other tool I use quite often is a tube of Locked-It. Every time you unscrew part of the SRF and you put it back, you want to make sure that it's tightened correctly. The other tool I use quite often is a torque key. That is mainly to unmount the handlebar. I've used this torque key at least 20 times because I either needed to put a windshield or to add some bar riser. When you put back the handlebar, you want to make sure it's tightened correctly, but not too tight. And you can also use the torque key to unmount the wheel. This key has a range from 20 to 110 Newton meters. So that's pretty wide. Right, I also have a tweezer. You know, when you drop a screw in some tiny space and you can't get it easily, I use the tweezer. Now that you understand everything I use in my garage, we'll get rid of all this stuff. I will show you what I bring with me when going on a road trip with the SRF. Alright, I will show you in details everything that I bring with me on a road trip, and you will understand that you don't need more. So I've purchased a Kriega toolkit. Why Kriega? Because it's very nicely done. You will see that there are a few pockets where I can put all the tools. Then I purchased a tire repair kit, a tiny headlamp from Petzl. That's very cheap. It's about 10 quid on Amazon, and you can also buy a rechargeable battery, some duct tape. It can always be useful, but between us, I've never used it so far. A microfiber close, that's not really for the motorbike, it's for the helmet. So I show you the tire repair kit. That's very standard. You have some CO2 cartridge. And since I had some space, I also added a knife. There was also some extra space, so I decided to put a multi-tool. That is a tiny multi-tool from Gerber. So what do we have in this toolkit? Well, at first we have a pair of gloves. When you're on the side of the road, you don't want to get dirty, so you need a pair of gloves like this. Then all the tools I have in my toolkit, you could tell me that they come as duplicate and I could have taken the ones from my boxes. But the thing is, you don't want to do this, because when you go on a road trip, you want to be quick. So for example, I've purchased a second ratchet key from Facom because I really like it and I know that it's a tool I use very often. I've purchased another bit holder. I didn't purchase the Vera I purchased this one because it's also good and it was a bit cheaper. I've purchased a small plier. That is also not super useful, but in some situations, for example, if the tires run flat and you need to remove something from it, you would be happy to have this tool with you. A small ratchet key, it's about 10 quid on Amazon. Just a backup key in case I can't use the bigger one. A small T-bar, I probably don't need it, but it's just a backup tool. Then I purchased another set of Swiss tool Allen keys. You can see that there are actually less Allen keys than in the toolkit I'm using in my garage, but I checked on the SRF and I don't need more. So I just carry less weight and it's better. Some cable ties, it can also be useful if you break something on the bike and you need to fix it quickly. Some extenders for the hard to reach part of the bike. You can use them with the ratchet key or with the bit holder. And in these pockets, there are different types of bits. The idea is very simple. Instead of carrying large and heavy tools, I just purchased some bits. So this is a set of X keys. Another set of bits. I probably won't use it, but it doesn't take much space. Here we have two adapters. One that does from a half to a quarter, and the other one that does exactly the opposite. I will explain you why. Here we have a set of specific bits. I checked on the SRF the different parts, typically the handlebar, the seat, the top box, and this is everything I need to unmount the most important part on the SRF. I don't need more already. The last tool is a T-bar to be able to replace the belt. With these three tools, you can unmount the belt. There is a bit of 27, another one of 13, and a Torx. So you can see that I don't carry many tools with me, but it's actually all I need because what can happen on the road? Mainly I can break the belt or I have to fix a tire, but that's it. Everything else is small maintenance. There's nothing major you would have to do on your SRF. So how do I carry my tools on the SRF? Well, I purchased a tail bag and I also have a top box, but when I go for a one-day trip, I just take the tail bag and that's enough. On top of these, I also have spare space to put some medicine, some earplugs, and there's also space for a spare pair of gloves. With my toolkit, I can also replace the belt. And when you're on the side of the road, you want to be able to replace the belt yourself. So you can see that I've put a spare belt underneath the seat. So in case the belt breaks, I can easily reach out to this new one and replace it. And that's it. If you feel I should carry some other tools, or if you do carry some other tools with you, please let me know and just put a comment. Thank you.